There we go. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. This is our voting meeting for the month of May. Everything we're voting on tonight was discussed at last Wednesday's work session. Before I move on, I would just like to mention that a good friend of ours at the schools, Mr. Gary Altman, passed away yesterday. And he was here a long time as the buildings and grounds before Ed came around. And so he's had a rough couple years, so just keep him, your family in prayers. Recognition of meetings. We had a regular board meeting from 7 to 7:32 on April 12th, April 25th. April 25th was personnel. May 1st was athletic committee. May 3rd was personnel work session and executive session for personnel.
Roll call.
Yes, you can. I got off track.
Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Mr. Dix.
Here.
Mr. Dempsey. Here. Mr. Coos.
Here.
Are either Mr. or Mr. Nemo on? Sorry,
I see Mr. Parker is.
okay, Mr. Parker.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay,
McGee is not.
and Mr. Redcliffe.
Here.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right, my mistake. Pride and promises, Mrs. Columbus and Mr. Lake.
Mr. Walzer received an award for his implementation of technology in the schools. He unfortunately could not be here tonight. He had a family matter to attend to, but Ms. Columbus and I will present him with this certificate. We included with the board agenda a picture of him receiving his award with other educators in the area, and we will take a picture and make sure he gets it to present it to him. We just want to congratulate him on being recognized for his innovation and technology with our students here at Laurel.
Okay, very good, thank you. Are there any addition to any administrator or supervisor reports? Item B, any information reports? Don't know of any. Item 5, yeah,
There's a question, I don't know if you want to take it now, if you want to wait.
Go ahead.
Cooper has a question.
Yeah.
Stated, I know it was discussed from the budget not to resurface the tracks. Does the school board realize the company that gave the bid drilled holes in the tracks? Also, the football runway has to be redone.
So now's not the time. We can address this towards the end of the meeting.
Okay. Any other comments, questions from the floor relative to agenda items?
Well, no, but Mrs. Bice will be making a statement towards the end of non-agenda. A little bit later.
Okay. Item A, motion to approve the minutes from the April 12th regular meeting of the board.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Carlson, second by Mr. Dix. Okay, is it Dave?
It's okay.
Well, it was Mr. Kuth. Okay.
Thank you.
The way these tables are set up, I have, anyhow, enough excuses. Motion by Mr. Kuth, second by Mr. Dix. Any, any questions on the motion? Any negative votes? All in favor? Motion carries. Treasurer's report and bill listings, Mr. Hammerschmidt.
It is recommendation of the superintendent and board to approve the treasurer's report as of April 30th, 2023, for the balance of $1,583,508.09. And I'd like to include B, the recommendation of the superintendent and board the attached investment report for April 2023. I put that in the form of a motion, please.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hammersmith, second by Ms. Ensko. Any discussion on, A or B? Any negative votes, or any discussion on the motion? Any negative votes? Any abstentions? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Motions carry. And Bill listens.
A, it is the recommendation of the superintendent to the board to approve general fund bill listing for May 10, 2023, in the amount of $25,311.80, and checks written annually in the month of April 2023 in the amount of $683,598.83 for a total of $708,902.63. And I'd like to include B, list of food service fund bills. It is the recommendation of the superintendent of the board to approve the food service fund bill listed for May 10, 2023 in the amount of $36,234.24. I put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Hammersmith, second by Mr. Dix. Any discussion on the motion? Any negative votes? Any abstentions? All in favor? Motions carry. Item 9, personnel, Ms. Ensko.
Okay, it is the recommendation of the superintendent to the board, absent any objections, to accept upon consent all agenda items listed under personnel. It's A, retirement investigations, B, professional development workshop, C, student summer workers / cleaner, custodian fees for compensation plan for the computer technician network specialist. F is the computer technician and network specialist. G is head girls varsity basketball coach. H is adding an assistant girls varsity basketball coach. I is additions to the volunteer and non-instructional substitute listed. And I'd like to put this in the form of a motion.
Motion by Ms. Ensko, second by Mr. Hammersmith. Any discussion on any of the motions? Any negative votes? Any abstentions? All in favor? Aye. Motions carry A through I. Item 10, committee of the whole. Item A is to accept, well, give me a second here to look. Yeah, I'd like to take motions, or items A, graduating class of 2023, the wrestling co-op with Wilmington. Item C, depository treasurer. Item D, depository for middle high school activities fund, elementary activity fund, and cafeteria fund. Item E, school solicitor. F, special counsel for special education. Item G, volunteer fire department contributions. H, Lawrence County Fairground, usage of the school property. I, advertising for the 23-24 bids. J is the auditing firm engagement. K, field trips, student activity trips. L is the a la carte menu and milk pricing. M, 2023-24 LCCTC budget. N, supply bid awards. O, award bid for 2 minivans. P, award the 2023 paving project bid. Q is summer programs. R, guidance interns. S, policy 618, the first reading. T, attachments to policy 626, federal fiscal compliance. U, attachment to policy 304, employment of district staff. V is the addendum to 23-24 student course catalog. W is a proposed final general fund budget, the first reading. Need a motion.
I'll put that in the form of.
Who are you again? Motion by Mr. Hammersmith, second by Mr. Coote. That's items A through W. Any discussion on the motions? Any negative votes? Any abstentions? All in favor? Motions carry. Okay, item 11, new business. Item 12, comments, questions from the floor relative to non-agenda items.
Before we go to Bobby Lynn, Cooper's question, Vice, the floor is yours.
Kind of concerned about the school funding being covered for tax dollars. And I sent a letter to the commission, that's what, I just wanted to kind of share some of those thoughts with you. I have a concern that the government's overreaching on the school board and forcing you to raise taxes instead of you guys making the decision yourself and they're taking over your authority to represent the people of the district. I just, I'm concerned about government strong-arming our people and our boards and making those decisions. And has there been any pushback on that?
So as far as the regulation goes, I mean, obviously it is what it is, but I will tell you that the board, I don't believe, will raise or not raise taxes based upon what the state is telling us. I get no votes in that, so, they can speak for themselves, but I think they're gonna weigh the evidence. I will say, independent of what the state said, it's Mrs. Conrad's recommendation and my recommendation for the first time since the 17-18 budget to raise taxes to the index. But I think many would agree with you that government has its place, but should know its place. And I don't think they're going to make decisions based upon the government.
So have you had any other push, I think it's all funding that if you did?
No, so I get what you're saying. All right, so I have had discussions with state representation relative to funding and what we do and what we don't do.
As far as?
Anything. So, like, for example, we're supposed to administer state assessments, correct? So let's say, for example, this board passes a motion, we're not going to do any state assessment testing this year. And let's say, hypothetical, that PDE says, well, we're not giving you your funding. PDE is the dispensary, but those funds were appropriated by a state budget and voted on by a state budget. So it's my belief that if the state said Laurel is to receive this money, I don't believe this an executive branch has the authority to arbitrarily deny us giving that money. And I hope we never get put to the test, but I do understand your concern relative to social justice curriculum and values in the home. I don't know your house, I haven't been to your house, but whatever goes on there is your business, not mine. The same goes for my house. But we were looking at our RFSR, and Jen denoted that, one of the things, RFSR is all these grant funds over COVID. And one of the things that we were supposed to consider is, minority-owned businesses or women-owned businesses. I have no problem with minorities, women owning businesses. I have no problem with men owning, I don't care who owns the business. I think it's our fiduciary responsibility to award purchases based upon those who meet the quality of the product and at the lowest price. Anything else that comes with that is out of the realm of our decision making. So that's all I have to say on that. Mr. Redfoot, anything?
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, my vote for the tax increase really had nothing to do with the government saying, because I don't know that they've really pushed it that hard yet. But, I mean, the government pushes so many things at you, you can only push so much back. Even though this is something that I think we will definitely address with our state legislators and see, you know, what they can do about it. But yeah, they always seem to try and figure out a way to get one over you on you so they can get you to do what they want. Well, next they'll be telling us how to spend the money that, you know, so.
How to teach and what to teach and not, right. That is, and I would recommend if that's how you feel, then you need to be at the ballot box and exercise your vote for those who feel the same way as you. Right? That's our duty as Americans.
We do agree with you though, for the most part, that, yeah, we don't want the board, right.
Well, this is where it starts, right? What happens if you don't say anything? What happens if we don't respond to you? Silence is compliance.
I still don't know what people report on. You know, I come to these meetings and there's nothing that really you ever talk about in front of us. That lets me know the general consensus of what's going on in the school, other than, we passed the budget, we passed the milk price, you know.
Their jobs are to hire and fire the superintendent, hire and fire employees, pass policy, and look to procedures. But as far as, you know, what's going on in the nitty gritty, these are the people that are administering that.
It is hard to keep up with it. I mean, I was on the board for 24 years and I was off for 2. And for those 2 years sitting in the audience, you would have thought all my experience, I would just carry through and I would know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, it's kind of tough to keep up because there's so many things that just aren't, yeah.
You know, I sit there
Right. Well, if you ever have any questions, you know, ask us, but it's, yeah, unfortunately, you don't get a lot of questions, you know. I mean, you see the turnout that comes to board meetings, it's kind of, no, not unless you screw up and then you get a lot of feedback. So,
Or you're hiring a head football coach. I guarantee they do.
you know, that brings everybody.
Speaking of the head football coach, his wife here has a question. So relative to the track, yes, last year we were looking at the track and there was a company that took a core sample out. And I have seen what its replacement was, and it is on the administrative radar relative to the pole vault. So are we aware of the situation of the track? We are. I believe last year when we looked at that, it was about a $600,000 option if we wanted to do everything. I think we pared it back in our state of Laurel discussions last year to $300,000 to $400,000, but it didn't make the cut in the end. And we are aware relative to pole vault. I understand there was an official there looking at does our pole vault area meet expectations for competition, and we can probably address the pole vault area through our maintenance budget relative to what repairs and replacements might be needed there. But are we aware of those? We are.
And I think Mr. Novad and I have went out there to just check to make sure it's not a safety issue. I mean, if it was a safety issue, it changes things.
Well,
But there's a few places that it's questionable and, but
What about the girls softball field? I wasn't here for the first meeting.
that didn't come up.
There being, the fence needs fixed because there were a couple girls got stuck with their feet under the fence.
Under the varsity field, we can report that then and have them fix that.
There you go.
we purchased, we purchased a house, which is fine. I think
This is
that's
for the
why.
bottom, for the bottom. Okay, so I guess there was a couple girls from other schools that stuck in
Looks like I let him go too soon, but we get an answer.
Ken and I walked out, there's I don't know, that could be just sod by the bank. Because there are parts where ground is eroded from the bottom, and somebody's foot could get stuck underneath it. So, I don't know, just sodding it up to the fence, to cover the bottom of the fence would do, I mean, that would probably be a better idea.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, anything else to come before the board this evening? Okay, with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ensko, second by Mr. Hammerschmidt. Any negative votes? All in favor? Motion is adjourned, or meeting is adjourned. I think we want to have maybe a 5-minute break.